All right, welcome back, fail-safe investors. I got a special video for you all today. If you haven't been watching the news, if you haven't been keeping up with what's been going on in the world today, it is bad news for Uber. And I am personally invested in Uber. And if you are personally invested in Uber, this is definitely a video you're going to want to watch because it might be a rocky road for the future ahead. But we're going to talk about everything that's going on with Uber, the bills that pretty much was just passed against Uber, and what could be the upside and downsides and risk and potential gains and pretty much everything that's covering Uber right now. So stay tuned to the video and let's go. Let's go. Okay, so if you haven't been keeping up with what's been going on with Uber, and if you are an investor with Uber, meaning you have Uber stock, if you are a long-term investor, then this video probably won't mean anything to you because no matter what happens with the stock, you're probably going to be invested in this company for the long term. But you probably still want to watch this video because things are changing with Uber's business model. And if you haven't watched the video that I previously made on when to sell a stock, that was definitely one of the reasons that I mentioned you should sell a stock. If the business model change, if the way that that company earns money changes, then that is a time to sell the company. So pretty much recently, or within the last couple of days, on around like August 10th, a federal judge in California pretty much said that Uber in the state of California has to list its drivers as employees instead of independent contractors. Now, all of this goes back to a bill that was passed in California back in January of 2020 that pretty much said the same thing, but Uber's been fighting it all the way from January. They've been spending millions of dollars, and Uber was already in the hole financially, but they've been spending millions of dollars to try to block this bill, and I'll tell you why. So pretty much the bill is AB 5. And I've already did a stock analysis on Uber where I told you that I am investing in Uber. And you can go back and watch that video. And I pretty much covered this bill, but the bill is AB 5, passed in California in January. And pretty much it says that Uber has to list all its drivers as employees. Now, with that, since they'll be listed as employees, they get everything that comes with that. So Uber would have to pay into unemployment for their employees. Uber would have to pay like benefits. Uber would somehow have to structure its business model to accommodate those employees, meaning like a set amount of hours you can work, or pretty much the freedom will be gone. Like you can't just wake up at any time of the day or any time of the night and say, you know what, I'm gonna go work for Uber right now. So it'll definitely be different for the drivers, but it will also be different for the consumer. So in my opinion, this bill is bad for everyone all the way around, but there are some plus sides, and I'll get to that later. But the bad sides are the driver will lose freedom. So the driver, if you drive for Uber and you're counted as an employee of Uber, you cannot go and drive for Lyft because that would be considered a conflict of interest. So if you drive for Uber in California and they have to abide by those laws, then you can't go and drive for Uber, then drive for Lyft, because then that's conflict of interest and you pretty much can't be fired from Uber. Other than the conflict of interest, since Uber has to pay for the unemployment, they have to pay taxes for those drivers, they have to pay benefits and all of that for those drivers, they're gonna pass that cost on to the consumer. So if you're ordering an Uber, then you're gonna have to definitely pay more because Uber has gonna pay more for the drivers and all that. Not to mention that minimum wage in California in 2020 is like $13 an hour. That is very expensive. So it's not good. And then this bill only applies to Uber and Lyft. It doesn't apply to like any movie studios, any contractors, real estate contractors, any other independent contractors. And that's kind of messed up. Now, in the video that I did on Uber and Lyft, I did mention that, all of these states were trying to make bills for Uber because Uber and Lyft were so revolutionary. They were doing something so different that's good, but now it's bad because now the business model has changed. Like I said, if there was any reason to sell a company, it's definitely when the business model changed. Like the equivalent of this would be California passing a bill saying that Netflix has to make all the movie producers, the actors, and everyone else full-time employees. And it's like, okay, now we have to pay unemployment insurance for them, insurance, all these things, which makes the cost of doing business go up, not down, up. And that is not good. So Uber announced that in 10 days, if their appeal is shot down, that Uber will temporarily shut the app down in the state of California, at least for a couple months until November. And the reason for that being is in November, the citizens of California can vote on a bill that Uber and Lyft introduced called Proposition 22, which is kind of like a middle ground where they said that they'll pay for the unemployment, but they still want their drivers to be listed as independent contractors, which I do believe is a great deal, but the state of California is pretty much out for blood. And there is one shimmer of sunlight in this whole thing. So, with Uber being so big, like I said, if you're a long-term investor, like I'm a long-term investor, so I was already thinking 3 to 5 years before I even see a return because the company just isn't profitable. And I mentioned that. I said a lot of big investors aren't in Uber yet. So once the big money starts coming in, then the stock share price will start to go up. But that wasn't probably going to happen for like 3 to 5 years. Uber was on track to being profitable in the year 2021. And so now that the can probably got kicked down the road, just to say that. But I don't want to get off track here. The one positive from this is that conflict of interest. So Uber has so much of the market share in the ride sharing business. I think they have like 2/3, like 60-something%, or more than that probably, but I think it's about 60-something% if I remember. They have so much percentage of the ride sharing market that if you have to pick one of these companies to work for, Uber or Lyft, 9 times out of 10 people are going to pick Uber. So this is bad for Uber, but detrimental to Lyft. Like it's both of these companies were already not profitable. One of the reasons why Uber wasn't profitable for a while was because of all the incentives that Uber had to give out to attract drivers to drive for Uber and to attract customers to use Uber. But if you only have one option, which is Uber or taxi, I guess you could say most states still have taxis. Uber or taxi, Uber is still cheaper than a taxi, and there is no other ride sharing company to even compare prices. There's no need to give out an incentive. So that would definitely, they could save millions on that because they were spending a lot of money on incentives. So, you only have one choice. You're going to use Uber because Lyft, a lot of people can't work for Uber and Lyft, so a lot of people probably went to Uber. And then 9 times out of 10, I've traveled a lot of places. Uber is a lot cheaper than Lyft. So Uber has more drivers than Lyft also, which is why Uber can give you a cheaper price on the drive. So if you can only work for one of those two, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go with Uber. Now, that is good for Uber, but like I said, that's more in the long term. So you won't see that return for quite a while. Like it will take time for Uber to change its business model to accommodate all of those employees. Like they said in California alone, Uber has over 100,000 drivers. And that was also one of the reasons why the CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi, said that they would have to shut down the app just to even figure out how to bring all these drivers on and structure something for how it can work. And they did say that once the app does come back on, like it will be a temporary shutdown, but once the app does come back on, but they don't plan on coming back until November when that Prop 22 is like voted on. But once the app come back on and they have to list all of those drivers as employees, then they will be more concentrated in cities where they are more likely to get customers, and the cost of the ride will be more expensive. Like, so they've already said that they're already looking to like what's the worst case scenario, which is good. Personally, my opinion, I'll say ride it out. I'm gonna ride it out at least for now. But if a lot of other states decide to follow suit, the stock price will more than likely go down. The price will more than likely go down anyway if the appeal is shot down and they have to like shut the app down in California, because California is Uber's biggest market right now. So if you're not in Uber and you were thinking like a price point to get in on Uber, I'd say wait and see how low it will go, but you don't know where the bottom is, so don't try to time it, but at least figure out what price would be a good price for you to get in on. Like maybe something under 27, 26, 25, 24, whatever, something in the 20s. Like it's at 30 bucks right now. I've been buying it around 30, 31, 32 anyway. So yeah, for me, if it goes into like 26, 25, 24, I'll just buy more, because like I said, in the long run, this will probably knock Lyft out of the competition altogether, because they didn't have that much of a market share. And I think they still have a bright future. This is a crazy bill. These are crazy times. This is a bad time to pass a bill like this. But I get the sentiment of California. California is saying, like, when the pandemic hit, a lot of people that worked for Uber and Lyft weren't allowed to collect unemployment because they are independent contractors, so they were. But I mean, there are ways around that, because how you could have set it up was you could have set it up as independent contractors can pay into unemployment or something like that. I don't know exactly how unemployment works. I know more than likely your company pays into unemployment, so it's crazy. But if you are thinking about getting into Uber, I want to hear your thoughts on it. Leave some comments down below. Tell me what you think about this video. If you not thinking about Uber at all, if you have any stocks you want to talk about, hit me up. I'm on Instagram at FailSafeWealth. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, FailSafeWealth, all across the board. Hit the subscribe button if you aren't subscribed to my channel. More videos are coming soon. Check out the video that I did on Uber and Lyft. I did a stock analysis on Uber, stock analysis on Lyft, and then I compared them against each other. Check out some of the other videos on my page. Like I said, more videos are coming soon. So till the next one, let's get it, let's do it.